We've got a student loan epidemic. It's a big deal.
Is college still worth it?
More than 40% of borrowers aren't making payments.
So what's a student to do?
I want to share with you some disturbing data about a college education, a college degree today, just to see how you react to it. Did you know the average price of a house in 1980 was $64,000 and it's $336,000? That is an uptick of 425%. Did you know the average price of a car in 1980 was $7,000? Today it's $47,000. That's an increase of 571%. But did you know the average cost of college from 1980 till today has increased, ready? 1,200%. By the way, inflation from 1980 till today is 236%. Cost of college tuition, 1,200%. Let me get this straight. Income's only $217, $220. Tuition for college is 1,200%, 1,000% more. How can the average American afford to send their kids to college or the student to pay for it?
This is not the United States of Patrick Bet David. This is the United States of America.
Would you take money from a capitalist to help you go see specialists?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
But would you also be open to seeing somebody else I choose as a psychologist that may...
No.
You're not?
No.
When you're offering people here jobs, right? You're saying that they would have to pay you money to get that. So in reality, you're trying to convince them to pay you money to be part of your
claims
company.
Of defaming. Be very careful defaming when you don't know the fact. I'm Patrick Bet David. I'm an entrepreneur and founder of PBD Podcast. Today, I'm surrounded by 20 anti-capitalists.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run the whole town, don't we? This power money can't slow down. Money won't slow down. Ooh, we doing a lot. How we got on top. How we got on the top. Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? Can't relate to them, ain't my chick calming. I set a goal for me 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of the Counter Move podcast here on Thursday, guys. Thanks so much for rocking with you, man. It was with your partner, man. If you could, guys, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. This is going to be a very, very, very good topic, guys. A really good topic. If you could, like, share, and subscribe. And if you could, guys, there's a little bell no matter what platform that you're on. Click on the little bell so when your partner comes live, you can come chat with your mans and them, y'all. All right, man. Let's dive into our topics today, guys. All right. Today's going to be a very good topic, all right, because of what I've been hearing concerning a college. Let me kind of be transparent. My daughter is about to go to school. And so as far as when it comes to college, senior year, things of that nature. And so there's a lot of discussions around my house concerning college. Right. So I thought it'd be wise for me to dive into really education as a whole. And with the rules of money kind of changing, so to speak, I think it was time for us to kind of revisit these type of lessons and really to begin with really the business model of higher education, guys. So here we go. Let's dive into this real quickly, guys. Here's our topics today, right? Here's our topics. Get these very, very fast. Number one, is college a scam? Is college a scam? I did talk about this before in our past Counter Move podcast. We're going to go a little bit deeper today. Number two, guys, student loans and the higher education business model. Let's look at that thing, man. Let's see what's going on with this thing, man. Look at the numbers and see the alarming rising cost and the structure of universities and how they actually have a special classification to where they can get away with basically paying nothing in a certain expense, right? Number three, college degree usage percentage. In other words, when college students get their degrees, right, at what percentage are they using the very degrees that they're actually getting, that they're exchanging this money, this investment, what degrees are they getting? And are they making any money getting these degrees? We're going to talk about that. And lastly, I'm going to get my thoughts on all of this, guys. So let's dive into this first topic, guys. Here we go. The college business model, student loans, and higher education. Let's look at the structure of how universities are actually ran, guys. All right, we're gonna look at the structure thing. We're gonna look at this thing at a real thing. So if you want to share this out to a lot of your people, all right, here we go. Let's dive into this thing. Let's invite our partner Patrick David. He actually did a couple of videos on this topic, guys, and I covered them both. But we're gonna revisit this one again, and we're gonna dive into this business model and how does it really make any sense, and does it yield a proper return on investment? Let's dive into this thing real quick. Let's go. Listen, Patrick. Here we go.
Before you get upset at the college you went to or you're going to right now, let's ask a few questions to see if it's really worth it, and then let's make a decision. But if you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others. 5 things we're going to talk about in this video. Number 1, the cost increase. Number 2, is the actual investment, meaning the 4 to 5 years and the money you spent into it, is the rate of return worth it? Role college plays. Does it carry the same weight before? And how will it be disrupted? What's going to happen to the future of college if they keep going the way they're going today?
These are great questions that every parent should be talking about right now, no matter if your child is in elementary, middle school, or even high school, and also college as well, because you have graduate college as well as doctorate college. Let's dive in. Here we go.
So let's get right into it. Okay, so today's sponsor to the video is Udemy, and if you don't know about Udemy,
go past this real fast.
My program in those courses to go to my concern from a perspective of being in the insurance industry, in the financial industry, 20 plus years, and my agents would come up to me and say, this client here, Patrick, wants a $2 million insurance policy. Will this insurance company underwrite it? The first thing I always said is, would you underwrite this client with your own $2 million and risk that? And they would say, I don't know. I said, tell me why. Well, the person's 62 years old. They smoke 2 packs a day. Mom died at 68. Dad died at 65. He's out of shape. He's 320 pounds, but he's got the money to buy it. I said, would you give them $2 million and allow them to buy it from me? He says, I probably wouldn't do it. I said, so why would the insurance company do it? Well, let's just see if they're going to do it or not. So you can submit it, but I don't think they're going to underwrite it, right? Pat, what are you saying? What's your point? Here's my point. So if college is so great and it's so worth paying the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per year, why don't private banks finance it?
Man, that is a phenomenal question. The banks, guys, banks finance a lot of stuff. Cars, homes, second homes, right? Second, third, fourth cars, businesses. They'll leverage against stocks, bonds, if it's structured right, Bitcoin. So why don't they lend on higher education? Great question. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's get into it, guys. This is a good question. Here we go.
Why is most of the financing being done by the government? And why isn't the government preventing these colleges from increasing the price? So every year college increases the tuition. The government's like...
So right there. In New York, guys, they actually have a mayoral candidate on the Democrat side who is proposing as a part of one of his strategies is what they call rent control. In other words, putting a cap on rent. For example, if the comparables or comps in a subdivision within probably half a mile or a mile outside, depending on the appraisal and or realtor, right? If the comps say that said unit or said single-family residence, the comparables on from a leasing standpoint is, let's say, $3,000 a month, right? That's what the market is yielding. This gentleman is saying, I don't care about what the comparables are said. I'm going to say the price control, the rent control is going to be at $2,000. Do you see the difference there? You have government proposing to put rent controls on housing, but won't do nothing concerning the rising cost of higher education. Why is that? Let's dive into this thing. Here we go. Let's get into this thing. These are great questions. Here we go.
Yeah, we'll finance it. Yeah, we'll finance it. Yeah, we'll finance it. And then when a kid who's 23 now and wants to file a BK, or 28 now, they'll be able to BK their credit card debt, their car loan, all this other stuff, but you're not able to BK your college loan? How?
BK, guys, what that means, that BK means bankruptcy. In other words, if you as a person, no matter the age, fall into hard times and you have trouble with your house, second house, cars, credit cards, debts out there, you can file for bankruptcy, which will force which means the courts will step in, and you can renegotiate the terms and or amounts on those said debts, right? That's called bankruptcy. Okay. Now you can do that with most of all your debts, right? Except student loans. Why is that? Why can't student loans be bankruptcy, but everything else can? Again, these are questions we got to ask right now concerning the business model around higher education. And the business model involves the government as well as universities. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Oh, why not? Well, who created that law? Well, the government did. How? Because colleges and government are officially in bed together.
Yes,
for every dollar that they loan out, tuition goes up 60 cents. For every dollar. So universities are like, oh my gosh, loan more because I can increase my tuition. Loan more because I can increase my tuition.
So stop right there. For every dollar, the tuition goes up 60 cents. I want you to think about that. For every dollar, the tuition goes up 60 cents. Every dollar. Do you see there's an incentive for these universities to keep increasing the amount or the price point per class for tuition as well as room and board, right? Come on, guys. And this is legal. This is legal because their business partner, the government, is allowing this, man. And let's get into this. It goes deeper, guys. Here we go.
Politicians are confused the hell out of people in America talking about how private corporations are not paying enough taxes and all this other stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Really? Wait till you see how much these colleges have in their endowments, in their checking accounts. And on top of that, the fact that they pay zero in taxes and they have zero regulation on how much they can increase their prices. So maybe you ought to ask your politician in your community, if you're so worried about protecting these medicines that takes 5 cents to make and they're selling it for $100, how come you're not going out to college, calling out colleges and universities for charging as much as they do for 18-year-old kids to go into debt that they cannot afford, that they have to pay 20 years to pay off? Why don't we go hold some of these colleges accountable for paying this much in taxes?
Stop right there, guys. Stop right there. So again, okay. So let's walk through some revenue streams for the universities. Football tickets, tax-free. Concession stand sales, tax-free. Memorabilia, merch, tax-free. Room and board tuition, tax-free. Parking fees, tax-free. Should I keep going? Eating food, tax-free. They pay zero in taxes. The next time I hear anybody on the left or right say anything about taxing the rich, I better hear something about universities. Oh, the endowment accounts, which are investment accounts, right? You're finna see how big they are in a second. Again, all of the investment, all of the yield, the profit, tax free. Tax free. How is this fair? How does this make sense? We're not done. Let's get into it. So if I hear another thing about tax the rich, matter of fact, hey, here's some counsel. The 2026 cycle is coming up. Everybody that hears me, you should be talking with all of your congressmen and senators, whether it be from the city council, right? City council, mayor, and I'm listing them all. State, Senate, state house, governor, a lieutenant governor, right? U.S. senator, U.S. congressman. I'm listing them all. President, hey, what are you going to do about these universities paying zero in taxes on all of their money? Since that's a nice amount of pool of money that needs to be taxed, right? Right? That discussion needs to be had now. It does, but it won't. Let's get into it.
March Madness. You got football games, this much in taxes. Yet let's distract them and focus on these corporations that are creating jobs. And oh my gosh, they're not paying any taxes, which they're paying billions on top of billions in taxes. I think it's a fair question to ask. So now somebody may say, well, Pat, that's not fair. The way you're talking about is the fact that colleges, all they do is they sit on cash. Maybe they do. Let's look at their dollar amount. Here are 10 universities that have a minimum of $10 billion or higher in their endowment account, which is kind of like cash. And I'm going to compare how much cash they got versus some corporations. And I want to kind of get your reaction to see if you're okay with that. Let's go through it. Top 13, Cornell University, over $10 billion.
Wow.
Vanderbilt, over $10 billion. Emory University, $11 billion. Washington University in St. Louis, over $14 billion. Columbia, over $14 billion. Northwestern University, over $14 billion. University of Notre Dame, over $18 billion. University of Penn, over $20 billion. MIT, 27. Princeton, 37. Stanford, 37 billion. Yale, 42 billion. Harvard, ready? 53 billion. Now let's compare them to some corporations. And again, I really want to see your reaction. Comment below. If this gets you thinking and saying, how the hell is this even possible? Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ready? Watch this. You ever heard of a company called McDonald's?
Yeah, I have.
You know how much they got in cash? These greedy people. $2.3 billion.
Wow.
You ever heard of Starbucks? Massive, 420,000 employees. You know how much they got in cash? $3.8 billion.
Wow.
You ever heard of this company called Disney? You know Walt Disney? You know how much they got in cash? $16 billion.
Wow.
You ever heard of Tesla? This company Tesla, ran by this greedy guy. You know how much they got in cash? $18 billion.
Wow.
Ford, $36 billion.
Wow.
Coca-Cola, $36 billion. Pfizer, $51 billion. Wow. Even Meta, Facebook, has $54 billion.
Wow.
Only $1 billion more than Harvard.
Wow.
Are you okay with that?
Wow.
And we're so hardcore on these guys not paying any taxes. Yet colleges and universities, they literally pay zero taxes, okay? And they have the same amount of cash, if not more, by all these other corporations that are day-to-day competing. They have to compete every day, hiring, firing, enemies, competition, regulation. And universities regulation, hey, keep funding it, guys, because the federal government's financing all the loans. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be all right.
Stop right there. Guys, stop right there. Stop right there. Let's walk through this again. Harvard, $53 billion. Zero in taxes. McDonald's, $2.3 billion. They're paying payroll tax, corporate tax, property tax, in some form or fashion, capital gains taxes. The same dollar's getting taxed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. These greedy people at McDonald's. Are we serious right now? And Harvard, $54 billion, $1 billion less than Meta in cash. Zero in taxes. Meta, they're paying property taxes, payroll taxes, corporate taxes, capital gains taxes. On and on and on and on and on and on taxes. And we talk about tax the damn rich. Tax the damn universities. Zero in taxes? Zero? That's greed. So the incentive for the universities to adjust anything in the business model is none, because they have a willing partner in the federal government that allows them to pay zero in taxes on all of their revenue. And it's revenue. It's profit. Let's stop the game. All right, guys. This is something now. Now, let's pivot over now to the second part of this. Now, Patrick, also, let's go to the second video. Now we're going to talk about this here. Let me get rid of this real quick, guys. Now we're going to talk about this here. We're going to talk about, let's go back here, the graduation rates, guys. What's going on with the graduation, guys? What's happening with these graduations is you're paying all this money for all these universities. They're paying zero in taxes, getting away with to be honest with you, with highway robbery, because they have a willing partner in the federal government, right? Paying zero taxes and everything. Let's see how great these degrees are, and these people going to school and investing all this capital into higher learning. Let's see how the jobs they're getting and what they're going to school for, because why? It's for higher education, right? We position them to make a lot of money and pay zero in taxes because of our partner in the federal government, right? It's for the children, right? Let us see. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's get into it. Let's go.
So let me preface something before we get into the episode. There's going to be a lot of you upset with me in this episode because some of you are going to go talk to your parents, to your friends, to your counseling, to your teacher. Why did you make me go get this degree? And some parents are going to watch this video. You're going to send this to your kids and say, why did you major in this and waste mommy and daddy's money? Because the underemployed people that are watching this, you're not going to be very happy. You want some numbers here? Check this out. According to researchers at labor analytics firm Burning Glass Institute and nonprofit Strata Education Foundation, they tracked the career paths of 10 million individuals, analyzing the resumes of workers who graduated between 2012 and 2021. Wow. Within 1 year, 52% of them after graduating are underemployed. Within 5 years, 45%. Within 10 years, 45%. And if you're wondering, what is the definition of underemployment? According to Federal Reserve Bank of New York, it means working in a job that typically does not require a bachelor's degree. So you spend.
So hold on, wait a minute. Wait. So we're going to school. We're paying $30,000 to $60,000 a year. Right, 4 years. So let's say 30,000 times 4 is $120,000. You're in debt, right? And you are going to school and you get out and you're underemployed, which means you have a job in your profession, in your degree space. Huh? Where's the return on investment? Where's the success there? I think that's a logical question. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. Here we go. Let's get into it.
$200,000, $100,000 of your parents' money, maybe your own money. Maybe you got Sally Mae's right now that you're dealing with making those payments, and you have a job right now that has nothing to do with your degree. And guess what? We're going to give you some data today. You know what that data is? We're going to give you what data has the lowest unemployment rate in America today and a bunch of other things. It definitely makes you question today's educational system because we were promised you go get this job, guaranteed pay, benefits, Let me go get a college degree. But that promise is no longer as accurate as it once used to be today. We're going to talk about that in this episode. Get right into it. Parents, if your kids are not yet going to college, pay attention to this. Kids, if you're watching this, maybe you're 16, 17 years old, pay very close attention. Watch what it says here when it comes down to major choice. Many 18 to 22-year-olds base their major choices on personal interest rather on labor market demand and supply gaps. What does that mean? Pursue your passion and everything's going to be perfect. Wow. Oh my God, I love art. I'm going to go work at a museum and I'm going to work as art person at this museum making $32,000 a year, but I'm going to love it. But I live in New York and oh my God, my rent is $4,200. Mom, how am I supposed to pay this rent? You chose fine arts as a major. Nobody told you to do so. And by the way, since we're talking about fine arts, let's go to the community of fine arts, the wonderful human beings in America that go and spend $200,000 getting a fine arts degree. I have a couple friends in this industry. I'm sure I'm going to get some nasty DMs and texts, but let's get into it. Here we go. Unemployment rate of recent college graduates in the U.S. as of February 2023 by major. What do you think's all the way at the top? Fine arts got a big lead with 12.1% unemployment. Then it's philosophy.
Wow. This is real, boy.
I love philosophy, but not as a degree. Then you have sociology. Then you got family and consumer sciences. Then you got mass media. Then commercial art and graphic design, foreign language, performing arts, public policy and law, international affairs. Then you got engineer technology, political science. By the way, every one of these, the unemployment rate is higher than what the unemployment is right now in America. Wow. And by the way, we can keep going. The overall number, like the over-under at 5.1%, is what the average numbers for unemployment, right? So if you go above 5.1, all those majors, the unemployment is above average of the rest of the numbers. Now, what's below it? Okay, here's what you'll find. Business management. You'll find computer science, pharmacy, biology, advertising and public relations, criminal justice, geography, finance, chemical engineering, computer engineering, even theology and religion pays more. So think about it.
Wow.
I don't know why theology and religion pays more, but it does. Chemistry, accounting, nursing. So now, again, remember, this is not like a conversation about, oh, let's laugh at you because you took that degree or not. I'm not trying to do that. All I'm saying is if you've done it already, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, you've already made the decision. You got to move forward. This is for some other people to create awareness. But watch this. If we're going to think logically, right? Okay, I want to think a little bit logically about my career path, and then later on when I make my money, I want to invest into my passion, okay? No problem. If you can do both, you're part of the lucky few. But watch this. These are the jobs with bachelor's degrees that have the most job openings today.
Okay.
Number 1, general and operations manager. Number 2, RNs. Okay. Number 3, software developers. 4, project management specialists.
Yeah.
Then it's accountants and auditors. Then it's elementary school teachers. Doesn't pay that well, but there's a lot of openings. Then it's management analysts. Then it's market research analysts. Then it's personal service managers. Pays the most, by the way, $110,000 a year. Secondary school teachers. So obviously a lot of this stuff that we read about, the average parent is going to sit there and say, let me actually see why I'm putting money into this degree. Is it even worth it or not? And kids are smarter today than before. They're looking at college. I'm talking to my son. One of my sons says, Dad, I'm not going to go to college. I said, why not? And the other one says, I think I'm going to take a break for 1 year and work within a company. Then I'm going to decide what degree I want to get. Now, of course, it can change right now, but this is their decision because my other kid wants to go to college. No problem, right? But they themselves are talking to their peers and seeing what decision they want to make. Watch this.
Now I see. Well, let's keep going.
According to Gallup, confidence in higher education among Americans dropped sharply from 57% in 2015 to 36%.
Wow.
From 57 to 36. Americans do not trust higher education today. So it's wild while we're looking at all this stuff with college degrees. Then a report comes out, Pew, again, talking about who is most threatened by AI, people with more degrees or people with fewer degrees. And watch what it says. If you look at the chart right here, it says what shares of workers are most exposed to AI in their jobs. Less than high school diploma, 3%. High school grad, 12%. Some college, 19%. Bachelors, 27% of people with a bachelor's degree, their job can be replaced by AI. So what is the point of this? How should I strategize? If there's ever been an era for you to really think about what job you're going to be taking that's going to be around 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, or a degree that's going to give you the right skill sets for that, this is the time to question it the most. So the one topic most people don't want to talk about is trade. Should I go pick up a new trade? When you look at trade skill shortage, the construction industry faces a gap of 500,000 workers. Why? Because a lot of these older workers are starting to retire and there's not a lot of people that want these jobs, right? So according to Bureau of Labor Statistics, the construction industry is projected to add 700,000 new jobs just between 2018 and 2028, but the shortage threatens this growth. The application rate for technical jobs like plumbers and electricians dropped by 49% just in 2 years, from 2020 to 2022. And according to Anthony Carnevale, director of Georgetown University Center for Education and the Workforce, America deindustrialized in the second half of 20th century, and education was reimagined to emphasize seeking four-year degrees. And by the way, when you look at this data, people think, well, there's no way there's money in that. 30 million jobs in America today pay $55,000 a year that don't require a four-year degree. But what's the point here? Am I encouraging you to not get a degree? I got 4 kids. Kind of a message is that if the kid wants to go into STEM and you're going to do something that's a specialized job, that there's a long lifespan for you to do that job, yes, let's entertain it and talk about it. But these types of conversations must be had with the kids, because I love what Tom said. Tom said, look, if you want to do this job, I'm not paying for the degree there. You want to do this degree, I'll pay for that. And that's a conversation that parents can have with their kids. You want to get this degree? I'm willing to fund it for you. You want to get this degree? I'm just not going to give you that much money. So what if you, as a parent who's paying the money, if you're getting a full ride scholarship, great, they have the choice to pick and choose. But if you're going to agree to finance money yourself, you can say, I'll pay 100% for this, I'll pay 50% for this, I'll pay 25% for this, I'll pay 0 for this. You pick and choose which one you want to go, because my job is to invest into you that's going to give you a better rate of return later on in your life, not invest into you to go 4 years and look at art and say how awesome it is, and 4 years later, after you're done with college, spending $200,000, living off of $32,000 and saying, Daddy, I don't have enough money, can you send me $2,000 a month? And he said, what the hell was this all about? What a waste of investment. Parents also have to think about having money to retire on, so they don't have to come to your kids and saying, honey, you need to support mommy and daddy. You don't want that either. So there's a predicament going on that this decision needs to be made. Look at your career in the following way. What if you handle marriage the way you handle career many times? What if we're like, oh, I love him, I'm so passionate about him, I'm so passionate about her. Well, you know for a fact this marriage is not going to work out. Should you get married? Well, what are you saying? Should I just marry for money? No, magic first. But then you also got to ask the questions, because marriage is more than just, oh, I love her. You got kids, diapers, costs, expenses, in-laws. Will it work? How's it going to be structured? There's a lot of things to marriage outside of just I love her. Just like there's a lot of things about the degree and the career path you take, just from I'm so passionate about this thing here, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So think more about it. I know it's stuff for the younger generation.
So again, guys, I think PBD, I wanted to play that kind of all the way through, guys, and let him cook a little bit because he gave some good, solid wisdom there, guys, concerning this. It's kind of, I'm not surprised that a lot of Americans have less confidence in a higher education universities, and you see where the uptick is at concerning trades like plumbing, electrical, because the older generation is retiring and a new generation needs to come in and actually do it. I hire plumbers, electricians to, of course, go and fix do a job for me at my homes when I'm renovating a property or apartment complex, and I paid them a nice amount of money for this, and I believe that electricians and plumbers are making six figures, easily. But if you get a degree in philosophy and psychology, in psychology, it really depends on what you want to do with the degree in psychology, because you could get a degree in psychology and go work for the FBI, law enforcement, do cold cases. So there's a way you can get that turned around. But philosophy and art and liberal arts, and like what are we doing here? And you in an information-rich age right now to where money is flowing to AI, flowing to data centers, flowing through software development engineering. Why not go that path? Why not? Right? If you wanted to do liberal arts, it's fine, but go right into teaching, a vocation, teaching at a middle school, elementary school, high school, right? Bring the expertise there, because why? That's where the jobs are at. Right? That's where the jobs at. There's a number of jobs in a ton of independent school districts around the nation if you just go and look. But my point with this section is the business model of higher education is not doing very well from a return on investment, from a payee standpoint or a student standpoint or an investor standpoint. For the universities, it's wonderful for them. And newsflash, when you go look at college football and basketball and sports, those are marketing tools to attract you to the culture of that school, so that you can say, I want to go and experience that. I want to go to Virginia Tech. I want to go to University of North Carolina. I want to go to University of Texas. Why? Because of the culture, what you see on TV. Great marketing plan, and it's working tremendously. To the point where for every dollar that you send to the university, your tuition goes up 60 cents. And there's no regulation around any of that at all. That's a problem. Right now, let's pivot real fast. Let's pivot now. We have went to this. Let's pivot now to another section, which is going to be pretty good. Let's look at debate. Let's see what type of product that this higher educational business model is bringing to the table, right? And going out to the workforce. There was a raw debate that we're going to look at right now, that you got to see a real live investor, Pastor David, a real live investor, entrepreneur, a job creator out there competing in the marketplace, creating new jobs, things of that nature, right? Transform people's lives that way. And then you get to see those that have went to universities and got said degrees, got these degrees. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what product this is, guys, because of the fact that what kind of yield we're getting, because let's just see. Let's get into it.
My first claim is incentive is the engine of capitalism. Remove it and the system fails.
Okay, here we go. Incentive.
Hey, great to meet you, Patrick.
What's your name?
My name's Mason.
Mason, good to meet you.
Yeah. I'm value-tained. I'm a big fan of the channel.
Are you really?
Yeah, I do watch it quite regularly.
Very cool.
I do not agree with your claim. I don't think that incentives are only born out of capitalism. Okay. Most capitalist defenders say that incentive is because of scarcity, and people's ability to get what is necessary pushes them to work harder. I disagree with that. I'd say that some of our hardest workers are single moms working 3 to 4 jobs, and the resources that they're able to acquire compared to those that utilize their workers in order to build profit for their own companies is not equivocal.
So how would you do it? How would you change
Good question.
Yeah, so I think that humans inherently want to be meaningful. They want to contribute to their communities. They want to contribute to society. When you look at depression rates, oftentimes it's people who aren't able to do anything besides laying in their bed and basically barely taking care of themselves. So I think that it's just a human intrinsic value to want to bring value to their community or grander society. So I don't think that it has to be through scarcity alone that scares people into working, if that makes sense.
I worked for scarcity. I think there's levels to it. You have the survival folks who work for survival to pay their bills. Some work for status, some work for freedom, and some work for legacy. The folks that work 3 or 5 jobs, to pay their bills and do what they're doing, if the incentive wasn't there, they wouldn't work 3 to 5 jobs. Some of the guys that build a bigger business that solve a lot of problems.
The incentive there is either I die or I work. That's not really a system that rewards merit. That's a system that pushes people into insecure positions.
Not necessarily. In many cases, we put ourselves in situations as well. But when we're talking incentive...
Are you saying that it's an individual failure for these single mothers that are working 3 to 4 jobs?
For some of them, it is.
Interesting.
For some of them, it is.
I'm glad you bite that bullet. Because most people are not going to say that it's a moral failure of people that are born into poverty that continue to live out cyclical poverty. Let me explain to you.
For somebody like me, I came from the single mother system. My mother was a single mother. We had, my parents got a divorce twice. They married each other. They divorced. They remarried each other, divorced again. I came up, we didn't have a lot of choices. I joined the Army, I got at that system, kind of wanted to see what I was gonna do for myself. Do I stay in the Army? Do I get out of the Army? I started working in sales. And then the incentive of working harder, eventually I built a good life for myself.
Again, you're totally dismissing the hard work that a lot of these people are putting into for just basic survival. I'd say that mechanics and plumbers and most people working blue collar jobs that are probably watching this video are working tirelessly day after day.
I don't
but yet
disagree.
They still feel insecure positions to where they don't even know if they're gonna be able to afford rent in the next 6 months.
So let me ask you,
if most Americans have a $400 to $500 emergency, they can't even afford that with the basic savings that they have. So this is not something that we should celebrate as promises of a system that gives you more if you work harder.
I don't think that Patrick is talking about celebrating that type of context. What he's talking about is from a capitalism standpoint, there's an incentive for you to excel more. Right, excel more, and the Bible says you can excel more. So there's an incentive base, whether it be promotion, income increasing, right, business success, right, growth, right. There's an incentive in a capitalistic society or a system itself that it's kind of like a carrot out there or a goal. There's a goal that you want to meet, and in capitalism, best positions versus a communism system or social system for you to want to excel more because of the goal that is there.
We should say that this is something that rewards few, and I'm glad that you're an outlier that's been able to build a lot of success for yourself. I know that you're a multimillionaire. That's fantastic that you have those resources.
When you explain
but the thing is
outlier,
that cannot happen for everybody in society. It's possible for each individual to do it, but not everybody can be a millionaire. That's guaranteed.
I don't think not everybody can be a billionaire or a millionaire, but I do think people can find ways to use their time to effectively increase their market value. And I don't think many people do that. When I talk to people and they tell me, I've watched this show, I've watched every one of these shows, I've watched every one of these Netflix shows, you can use that time to increase your market value instead of kind of, focus on what's going on with the stories and shows that are out there.
Let's move away from Netflix and TV shows and talk specifically about, do you think that capitalism is a system of merit that rewards people that are of higher merit?
I do.
Okay, so how would you say that this is a meritocracy when we have some people that are born into excessive wealth and some people that are working minimum wage jobs to provide for 3 or 4 kids? How would you...
He is looking at the fruits of what someone started. That's what I call the power of the first, right? Whenever you see a wealthy family or generation of wealth passed on to second, third, fourth generations, there's always the person that went first. I call that person the pioneer. He's the one that took the riskiest step first, to where you actually see, okay, that's passed on to the second generation, then third generation, fourth generation. I've seen this happen with a good friend of mine in the state of Mississippi. He's like third or fourth generation, but when I asked him about how'd you get where he was at, he talked about his grandfather who started this. It passed it down to his dad, and then it came down to him. So be careful of just seeing the fruits of what you see in a third generation, or maybe in the second generation, without asking the question of, okay, where did it start from? Right? and that there was a decision actually made to get it started. If that makes some sense, guys. All right. Now let's move on real fast to another guy. This is a very interesting exchange that I want to get to real quick, guys. And I think you like it. Here we go. There we go. Here we go.
You're a job creator.
But I don't know your resume. You know your life better than I do. Why do you think you have not going to call back on 477?
Let me go back.
Be creator. The time that I'm glad y'all tripped over each other because I did too. How's it going? James.
What's your name? James.
So one of the things that you have stated is that we have options. Okay. So just to give you a little bit of my background, I come from a divorced family, and we lived below the poverty level from the time that I was born until now, frankly. So I'm one of those people that you're talking about that isn't pulling themselves up by their bootstraps enough, which, like, I didn't have boots to begin with, and, like, I don't know if you've ever had boots, but, like, legs are load-bearing structures.
I relate.
And, like, you can't really pull up a boot when you're wearing it, you know? So where exactly am I failing when I am working 80 hours a week? I am taking the only jobs that will hire me. I have put in 477 applications over the last 2.5 years. Not even gotten a call back once.
Why do you think?
You tell me. You're a job creator.
But I don't know your resume. You know your life better than I do. Why do you think you have not gotten a call back on 477?
Because
a lot of
do not have a degree.
Okay.
Because I do not have a degree, because I could not afford one.
Okay.
I live in an area where the physical job market is very limiting.
Where do you live?
I live in rural Texas.
Okay.
So in that, like in the town that I grew up in, for instance, there are 8 jobs, period.
Does your family live there? Mom, dad, everybody's in that same city?
Everybody was at one point.
Okay.
Most of them are dead now.
Okay, sorry to hear.
It is what it is. It's poverty. You know, we're kind of used to that on this side.
Why do
you? Why make that smart remark? We're used to it on this side. I mean, how do you get used to being broke? Like that's a decision being made. Now, I'm not saying being wealthy is the greatest thing on the planet Earth. No, but what I'm saying is, how do you just settle for that? It's like he's just settled for that reality, you know. So let's see how this unpacks, guys. Let's see how this unpacks. Here you go.
Why do you feel like you're a victim? Why do you feel like you're a victim? Why do you feel like the way you speak, like, you know, you're the victim where all this happened to you?
Correct.
Because I exist and things happen to you, and as such, things happen, and that's why I say that they happen to me.
You're a good-looking guy. Why do you think you're a victim? Why do you think you're somebody that's got into a situation because it's not fair what happened to me? Let me give you a couple options.
Sure.
Are you open to leaving the city you're in?
I've already left it.
So what city?
I've left multiple cities.
So if somebody else gave you a job in a different place, you'd be
100%.
willing to move there?
100%.
Okay. On your resume,
It says that.
What do you have on your resume? Skill set. What do you offer?
Transportation expertise, logistics expertise.
You consider yourself a hard worker?
I mean, I feel like 80 hours a week.
That's a hard worker.
Sure.
How about we do this? How about I interview you and I give you a job?
Wow.
Would you move to Fort Lauderdale?
Ooh, man, that's Florida. Sure, why not?
Would you move to Fort Lauderdale?
Sure, why not?
How about you and I document this? After this, you come, I do an interview with you, and I give you a job. And let's see what you do 90 days later.
Okay. And I'll look up your company and all that kind of stuff, and I'll see it.
But you
like,
see what just happened
regardless,
right there? But watch what you just did.
Sure.
You just said you applied to 477 companies who's not gotten back to you.
Yeah.
A business owner who's hiring aggressively just made an offer to you.
Yes, he did.
You said you're willing to move. Then you said, I'll look at it. You became selective.
I didn't say I look at it if you'd let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
I would like to look into your company to see exactly what you guys do.
You would like to?
Because I don't know what you guys do.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, I may be wasting my time going. If you guys are a finance company, if you guys are a bank or something like that, I don't have the certifications, I don't have the degrees. So even interviewing me would be a moot point.
What if I gave you a job, period, to work 80 hours a week? Would you take it? And I paid you a reasonable wage.
Are we talking a livable wage or a reasonable wage?
What do you make
whose
right
version
now?
of reasonable are we talking about? Your version of reasonable or my version of reasonable?
But you see, so now, for me, what I'm noticing from you is...
I need specifics?
No, not necessarily. No, most of the people I hire need specifics. The difference is I'm trying to hire them. In this instance, you're trying to get a job and you're being selective. It's going to work against you.
I mean, I'm not trying to get a job. Originally, I was trying to ask you where the moral fell.
My offer is off the table
okay, that's
because
fine.
you're going to be difficult to work with.
Okay, sure. But
Stop right there. So you have a young man here from Texas, like I am, getting offered a job on the spot, an interview to get a job. He's put in 477 applications, right? Clearly frustrated by not getting a job after putting so many applications in. And I can understand that from a logical standpoint. You actually have someone there that's willing to offer you a job, right? And it's qualifying you right there. And he says, hey, first he said, you know what? What's on your resume? What is your expertise? You tell them what your expertise is. He said, okay, how about we do this here? I'll interview you and I'll offer you a job, right? And you say, what? We'll see. I had to look up your company. What kind of stinking thinking is this? You were just complaining about not actually having a job. I'm sorry. Applying for many jobs and with no phone calls back. So you have the decision maker in front of you saying that, hey, would you be willing to move to Fort Lauderdale? You said yes. He said, I offer you a job. And you talk about, let me see what's going on. I don't know if I qualify. What type of thinking is this? Why would you go into a situation where the decision maker is in front of you and you're saying, I don't know if I actually qualify for your job? What is this? Now I see why no one's called you back. I wouldn't call you back. I don't want that type of thinking in my company's culture. That doesn't make any sense. I'm just trying to figure out why is he so defeated? I mean, this perplexes me that you actually have a decision maker in front of you and you talk your way out of a job after complaining about putting in 477 applications and no one called you back. Huh? This is the product. Well, he's not him because he's not a college graduate. But if you go listen to this entire thing, this is a phenomenal video by Pastor David and Jubilee, right? A phenomenal exchange and debate, right? Concerning you have what I call theorist or theory people, which is theorist, and a real world someone there that's actively in the marketplace, making things happen, making investments, taking risks, hiring, firing, putting in infrastructure, things of that nature, paying taxes, right? Paying CPAs, building stuff. So you have theorists surrounding an actual person that's actually in the market. But the theorists know what's best and not the real world person. In the realm of how to make money, capitalism. And these individuals are anti-capitalism, while this guy's a capitalist. This guy will never get a job. You should have never had this exchange, man, on camera, because this is now on your resume, brother. This is now on your resume. This has been seen over 1 million times. This is now on your resume. They're going to look you up. They're going to see this. Will a company would accept this type of mentality into their company? No. I would say no, because there's no value there. And even when it came to a wage, this guy fixed his mind to say, hey, because Patrick said, I'll pay you a reasonable wage. He said, is that based, who determines reasonable, you or me? The one with the money to determine what that is, the marketplace. What is this? What employee comes in and says, hey, I think I'm worth this, pay me this, without any type of market research at all, saying the marketplace says X, I think I'm worth X, pay me X. That's a great argument. This guy says, bump the marketplace, I determine what's reasonable. Now you pay me what I think is reasonable. That is the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. What is this? Yeah, bro. Keep working 80 hours a year, man. A week, because this is on your resume now, man. I'm sorry, it's on your resume now, man. Wow, this is a type of thinking that's being produced with these universities. This type of thinking, guys. This is perplexing to me. Perplexing. Let me see. Something else. Okay. Here's another claim. Here we go. Let's go back to it. Here we go. play. Come on,
My next claim is if all the money in the world were divided equally, it would return to the same pockets within 5 years.
Wow.
What's your name?
Caleb.
Caleb.
Yeah. So you just said that you are proposing if we divided all the wealth equally in like 5 years. How would you propose we divide the wealth in that way? In this thought experiment, again, if we're going to give it a serious look, I want to understand, how would you propose that happen?
I hope you realize this is just a question we're asking everybody, right? But if you take all the wealth, which is around $500 trillion, okay, give or take, you divide it by 8 billion people, it would be around $62,500 each.
Wow.
Within 5 years, the people that don't know how to handle money themselves, they would lose it all. And within 5 years, the same wealthy would get the same amount of money.
Agree.
As someone who certainly doesn't make that much money, I'm willing to take that as a gamble just for fun.
Right,
I'll be honest. But at the same time, like, okay, so you're just now claiming that people who don't have wealth don't know how to manage it. And that's fair because a lot of them have never had it before. So what do we do to basically ensure that people like myself who are currently, thank you to the United States, thank you to the state of California for giving me medical insurance to get blood work, for giving me food stamps so I can have food. I've applied to, I don't know how many hundreds of jobs. I can show you the receipts. I can show you the email confirmations. Like, I am trying my best to use my values with the freedom that we have
So
here.
if I give you a job, you would work 40 hours a week?
If the job is in alignment with something that's noble and good, I think I could. The issue is, and again, you may say that this is a personal weakness, but like right now, substitute teaching.
But you can't complain about putting in applications and not getting callbacks or not getting the jobs. And then someone offers you a job and you say, well, it depends on if it's noble. What is this? This is the thinking that is coming out of these universities. Not all. Not all students, but this is the quality that's coming out. Now I see the reason why a lot of companies really have their own universities within their own companies. Why? Because of the fact we have to untrain and then retrain employees. Let's keep going.
Tutoring, trying to help in that way, is making it so that I'm able to scratch by, but without the supplemental income and the help from the society of people who make more money, I'm going to not have enough food.
I want to address something which you made a point that I agree with. On why don't some people create wealth? In my family, when I was growing up, and I was telling this young lady over here, when my dad was a cashier at a 99-cent store, we've never owned an insurance policy before. My parents, we've never owned a house before. I've never lived in an apartment with a swimming pool before. We've never had a 401k stock, mutual fund, none of that stuff. I had no clue how money worked. So for me, when I got out of the Army with a 1.8 GPA, out of high school, I went straight to the Army because I didn't know how money works. If you look at our system today, in high school, we learn about a lot of different things. They don't teach us about taxes, finances, mutual funds, stocks, bonds. Colleges don't even teach a lot of that right now. So
Do you work
come
in
out.
a high school?
Did I work in a high school?
Do you have experience like me, someone who's essentially on those front lines working in?
I've worked with many high school teachers and the directors of psychology to talk to the youth. Yes,
So
I have.
right now, I'm in a position where I have options, like you said. I do have some options, but they seem to be somewhat destructive and exploitative of me, of my peers. So I'm trying to
I think you're too
discriminate.
selective for jobs right now.
Correct.
You don't have the ability to be selective at this stage.
Well, but the thing is, I do
wanna make
because I'm instilled with a freedom that is maybe God, universe given, and I don't actually have to, because of the system, like you said, I don't have to play along with some corrupt game. So I gave up
I think California is
a career.
perfect for someone like you.
Well, thankfully, California agrees. But you mentioned earlier in a previous discussion that we have free speech, we can say what we want.
Right.
But the thing is, have you been punched on the train for how you look and how you share your ideas?
Do I look like an American to you? Do you see this nose?
No, I'm just asking.
I'm Middle Eastern. You know what's happened to this guy? You know what's happened to me when I was discriminated all over the place?
So do you really feel like that's free speech if you're being
but I don't mind
punished
it.
by people who have prejudice against you?
I don't mind it because I understand there is risk that you may be disrespected. They're like here, I've been disrespected here many times. I've been offended here many times. A lot of you are coming here finding a way to attack me and tell different stories. I'm okay with that.
I don't want to attack you.
You're being very respectful. I'm not talking about you. But what I'm saying to you is, when you say, have you ever been punched in the face on a bus? You don't want to hear about what things has happened to me because of the way I look.
Because I feel
but
like
I don't want to use
you've
that.
been through a lot of trauma in your life, and now you're kind of clinging to things.
I'm not. What I don't want to do that. I have my son is sitting right here, my 13-year-old son, my I have 4 kids. I bring them everywhere. I want them to see that it's okay. People are going to disagree with you. You have to be comfortable with this.
All the time.
You are with 13-year-olds all the time?
Because of my job, because I'm a substitute teacher and a tutor. The thing is, you can imply many different things, and that is your right. But what I'm saying is right now, I care deeply about having a good experience. The incentive that I feel is for peace and prosperity.
I respect it.
And again, I'm using my freedom now, but the issue is you're saying we have all these options, but whenever I tour the globe, I see franchises that have monopolized pretty much everywhere. So when you talk about options, it's really, there's these select few people who have this infrastructure that's really benefiting them more than others, and without some sort of conscious, spiritual, moral awakening, what can we do except for beg and appeal and amass?
No, you can't be too selective. At the beginning, when I worked at Haagen-Dazs, I couldn't be too selective for a job.
I can't whenever I can.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, nice.
Appreciate you.
So again, guys, and this goes on and on for a good hour and some change, guys. Phenomenal video. I implore you guys to go watch this. It's the one with Patrick Bet-David, as well as Jubilee. They actually have it, and the good thing about it is it's a phenomenal video. Now, here are my thoughts, guys, on this entire thing. Okay, here are my thoughts. Right, here are my thoughts. When it comes to the universities, this business model, guys, this is what I call a strategy capital impact, guys. Here we go. All right. You know what? Forgive me. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Get rid of that. Here are my thoughts on this. The university model is a skewed model because there's no incentive for the university to improve. There's no incentive for the university to give a fair market value when it comes to their pricing. Right? There's nothing there. They have a willing partner. There's no regulations to govern any of that. Right? And so in my opinion, what actually happens a lot of the times is the university now, what they typically do is they can jack up pricing. They can do anything they want to do concerning this. Do anything they want to do. They can check on the pricing, do anything they want to do. Now, the product that these universities are producing out is not a very good product when it comes to student return, when it comes to return on investment, in my opinion. Now, that's not the reality for some students, right? Doctors, attorneys, engineers, that killing the game. Love it, no problem. But at the exact same time, what I wanted to say is this model smells like a scam. It smells like one. But I gotta give it to universities from a strategy standpoint. They're killing the game, guys. They discovered a business model that has changed the game. They really have. They have a willing partner in the federal government that has no regulations at all, and they pay zero in taxes on all the revenue. That part of the tax code, they actually took advantage of. I got to give it to them. Can't get no praise. The product coming out of universities, suspect. That's the yield that I'm looking for. It's not good for me at all. Not at all. Period. And it's not going to change at all. So now, what do you do? What you have to do, guys, is very simple. You have to begin to countermost. Again, strategy, capital, impact. The right strategy brings the right capital and implement it the right way, produce the right impact. So how can you utilize this higher education business model for your advantage? Simple. Choose the right industry to go in. That can increase your market value. So when you go into the marketplace, that your market value is so high, you attract the dollars. Strategy, capital, and the impact is you have a good life. It's very simple. Not hard at all, because it's not going to change at all. It's not going to change as far as the structure. It's here to stay. It's here to stay. Right? Number 2, capitalism versus anti-capitalism. Capitalism, in my opinion, is man's greatest invention when it comes to a system around money. Again, I said man's greatest invention, not the Lord's. Man's greatest invention. Because it gives a way for someone to make a decision to better their life, which is the best way to even the playing field. Communism has produced, has failed, as well as socialism. Is capitalism perfect? By no means, no. It is not. But it's the best system in play, right? So what do? It's very simple, guys. I'm going to go back to this real fast. Simple. Have the right strategy going into college, right? The right strategy attracts the right capital. And then the capital invested properly impacts you in a positive, negative standpoint. How are you going to do it? It's very simple. Don't get mad about the system, guys, at all. Don't get mad about the system at all. Counter moving it. Utilize it for your benefit. Make sense, guys? But guys, man, this was fun for me. I enjoyed this, guys. Okay, again, guys, a lot of times I'm asked, guys, hey, Liddell, what's a side hustle that I can begin when it comes to, if I don't want to go to school or I'm kind of burnt out in my current industry, what else can I do? I've talked to people like that all the time. Simple, guys. I think, guys, a wealth transfer is happening right now in several different arenas. AI, right? Technology, home business opportunities, and real estate. Guys. Guys, I'm giving away a free ebook called Distressed Property Investing. I tell everybody, when it comes to real estate, you make money when you buy, not when you sell. I like buying properties below wholesale because when you're in a high interest rate type of environment, you reverse engineer the entire transaction and you become a negotiating hawk and you force a lower price point. So you get it below wholesale, right? When you get buy below wholesale, guys, you walk in cash positive. That means it's equity there, guys. All right. I'm giving a free ebook, guys, called Distressed Property Investing, guys. Do me a favor. You can either DM me the word real estate if you're on a platform to where you can't scan this QR code, or you can scan the QR code right here, guys, right there on the screen. Scan the QR code right there. And guys, take a quick survey real quickly, guys. And then what happens is you can download that ebook. It's right there. It is completely free. My philosophy is I want to give away the information as free as possible so that you can learn how to acquire real estate. For instance, there's a technique in there, guys, that talk about how you can actually get a list of properties from your city, county, or state, for free. That's in that free ebook, guys. All right, guys. All right. Does that make sense, guys? And also, guys, if you ever want to ask me questions, guys, I am on the app called Minnect, guys. Great app, guys. Scan on this QR code, guys. Send me messages. I get messages a lot of the times asking me about business, life, finance, wisdom, mistakes that I've made, how do I rebound, things of that nature. You're welcome to scan the code. It comes directly to me, directly to my phone, right here, right to my phone. And I respond with a text message, a voice call. You can have a phone call with me. And just ask me any questions that you may like, guys. It's on the app Minnect, guys. Scan on the QR code, guys. Come chat with your partner if I can add any value, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for your time. God bless you. I ended every single time before you leave while you can, but you see that thing, baby. Oh, my bad. One last thing, guys. Tomorrow, we have Real Estate Friday Live, guys. Me and Cliff, we're going to be talking about real estate again, guys. Every Friday we talk about that. Guys, let me give you a quick peek on Real Estate Friday Live, guys. This probably my most popular program. Let's get into it. Here we go. What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
Again, guys, Friday at 5 p.m. CST is Real Estate Friday Live. Come kick with your partner, Cliff. It's free. It's 5 p.m. CST. Go kick with your partner, guys. Real simple, guys. All right, guys. Well, man, thanks so much for your time. You know how to end every time, guys, before you leave while you can, baby. You see that thing, baby. Hit the picture for your mom and them. Holler at your partner. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. All right, guys. Peace. My whole thing is, the one thing I hear a lot of the times when it comes to anybody in real estate is, I don't have the money or the credit or the time or the intellectual property. And I said, okay, no problem. I have the money, have the credit, have the relationships. I'll teach you how to locate a good deal, right? Buy below wholesale.
I love that.
And once I teach you that, right, I'll bring me the deal. I help you underwrite the deal, which is fine. I'll even fund the transaction for you as well. So there's no excuses on the table at all. That's why we call that the cash flow club, period. So what happens is people always ask me all the time, Dale, can you train me? Well, I don't have the time to do that. But what if I set up a platform for it to where you get on-demand training? Anytime you want to, because the training you may need may be after you get off work, early in the morning, during the day. You just log into your account and get the same training as if I'm sitting there one-on-one. We're talking about our attorneys, our general contractors, our appraisers, as well as me, talking about how to structure your business, how to put together what they call a power team. A power team is very important. How to put a deal together, right, and buy it at the right price point. How to market. That's one technique that people don't understand. That you can actually get a list of properties that from your city for free.
Whoa. So walk me through that. Like, you can physically get buildings or homes or properties available for free?
Yeah, I'll send you guys the bill in the mail. It's real simple. What you can do is you can actually call down to your city and ask for the violations division. What happens is you say, hey, I want to see what homes in our city actually have violations. What are violations? High grass, no paint, vacant. You have boards on there. Those are actually violations that the city or citation that the city has actually levied against that property. They'll give you that list for free. It may be a little bit of a fee, maybe $100.
Sure.
But it is what it is. Then what you do is you actually you can contact those sellers of those properties one-on-one.
Wow, and that's how you make your money. That's one way. That's one way.
If you'd like to learn how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below, swipe up, DM me the word real estate to download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed. I'll let your partner download the ebook today.